Hello, Dr. John Shieh here again, and I'm excited to be able to share with you in this video about what millions of people need to stop putting on their skin and what they need to get out of their homes right now. So I wanted to share with you this information because it's just so damaging to our skin and body, and I want to show you what those things are and what you can do to avoid it and how you can actually do things to help yourself. So it's all about these sunscreens, these crazy sunscreens out there. Well, there's so many things out there. How do you know what to use? Are they all good? I mean, it's got to be good or okay for you if it's by some big name brand and they sell a lot of it, right? Well, actually, no. Actually, there's a lot of controversy with sunscreens because of the chemicals that are in there and the studies that show how bad they are for us. But of course, just to quickly understand why are we using sunscreens, it's because we realize that UV is bad for us. And so there's that search for a sunscreen to help block it. So this 69-year-old truck driver has been driving trucks for 28 years. And the sun coming in from the left window, because your steering wheel, his driver's seat is on the left side in the United States, has come in and damaged the left side of his face. And you see that sun damaged on his skin, so many more wrinkles than it is on the right. So we know it does cause problems for our skin. With a case here of identical twins, the one on the left here wore sunscreen and didn't smoke, whereas the one on the right, we realize these environmental factors can affect us, such as the toxicity of smoking, as well as not wearing protection from the ultraviolet rays. And we do know that different skin colors, whether you're type 1 skin, which is very fair, light skin that burns easily and has high risk of skin cancer, it's different from people who might be type 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, where the skin is darker, there's more melanin, and it doesn't burn as easily or never burns. And skin cancer risks are lower in those cases. We know that ultraviolet rays exist in different forms. It's because there's a range of wavelengths, but the UVB rays only penetrate into the epidermis, the surface layer. And that's where you get discolorations and the sunburn and the problems that we see on the skin, the damage that we typically think of. But UVA rays are also quite significant. And those UVA rays penetrate deeper into the skin, down into the dermis, where all your collagen is. And you get damage to the collagen and something called solar elastosis. That's where collagen that used to be nice and homogeneous and continuous and supportive has now broken down. It's all shredded apart and broken apart because of aging and UV rays. Now, in a perfect world, a good sunscreen would just block those rays and then protect the skin. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And so when I see things like this, when I go to the beach or the swimming pool and I see people spraying stuff on their skin and putting on all types of sunscreens like I showed in the other picture, we see an issue here because there's a lot of toxicities that are occurring that these people are getting into their bodies, as well as damaging the environment. There's studies by that scientists that found that FDA-approved UV filters, such as Oxybenzone and Octocrylene, among others, actually damage skin when exposed to ultraviolet radiation. It's supposed to block the UV rays, but what happens is they break down because of that action. And when it breaks down, those things create something called reactive oxygen species that actually damage the skin. So even though it helped to reduce UV exposure that damages skin, the chemical itself is damaging your skin. And there's many other things wrong with that too that I'm going to show you. So Oxybenzone, FDA has found that there's so much absorption in our bodies that 96% of Americans have detectable oxybenzone in them. And it can affect your hormone levels, and it's more impactful. Children are more susceptible to these hormone disruptions and oxybenzone, these chemicals. There's allergic skin reactions, but the problem is it also acts as an estrogen. It's a weak estrogen, which we don't need any excess of that in our bodies because it'll imbalance our body. And then it affects the androgens, which is hormones like testosterone. And CDC exposure data, they found that adolescent boys with higher oxybenzone levels, they actually had lower testosterone levels. Now, boys need their testosterone as they're developing, and they're getting lower testosterone because of this most common ingredient in sunscreen called oxybenzone. So lower sperm counts, sperm abnormalities, poor fertility, and poor sperm quality. And we are hearing about more and more people who are having trouble conceiving, and they have all these fertility issues these days. And this is one of those things that's causing it. Well, continued more stuff. So pregnant women have shorter pregnancies when they have male babies, and there's birth weight changes. They're abnormal now because of oxybenzone. You can also find oxybenzone in breast milk. So the mother's skin is absorbing the oxybenzone from the sunscreen. It's ending up in their bodies and it's showing up in their breast milk. And these babies are ingesting this. They're drinking this as their nutrition in their first days of life. Women also are increased risk of endometriosis. This is where the endometrial lining that's supposed to be inside your uterus is actually outside of the uterus. It's in the abdomen and it's implanted all over. And on a monthly basis with hormone changes, there's bleeding basically occurring inside the abdomen, causing a lot of pelvic and abdominal pain, as well as fertility problems. And then the big thing about the environment is it disrupts coral reproduction, and it damages coral's DNA and basically kills it. And so all these coral reefs have changed in the past 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, I remember seeing a reef that was so beautiful, went back a few years later, it was just all dead. And so Hawaii has banned this since 2018. They banned it, and the law went in effect on January 2021. They banned oxybenzone. Now, octocrylene is the other chemical that was listed in that initial study, and they often find this with avobenzone, another sunscreen chemical, but it absorbs into the skin and it penetrates the skin, and it's found in the mother's milk, again, a lot of skin allergies, and it interacts with other chemicals, and it causes death of cells and also is connected with cardiovascular disease. These are images that I took out at a store in Hawaii after this ban. And on there, you still see all these strange chemical names: avobenzone, Homo salicate, octisolate, octocrylene, all these chemical names. Two of them that I've already mentioned, but despite the ban on those chemicals, you still see a lot of this that's out there. Now, is this okay just because it's still being sold? Well, it's not. And I mean, these popular brand names, we still see these chemical names on there. Avobenzone. Unfortunately, it is a type of a sunscreen, but it breaks down really quickly in the skin. And these breakdown products cause free radicals, which lead to accelerated aging and risk of cancer. Now, in order to stabilize it, they add other sunscreens to try to make it last longer, like octocrylene, Homo salicate, octisolate, and trying to make it work longer. It causes more allergies, and it also causes hormone disruptions, as well as kidney and liver dysfunction and nervous system disorders. So avobenzone, already not good, breaks down and damages skin, but then you add these other chemicals like Homo salicate, and it penetrates the skin, accumulates faster in your body than you can get rid of it. So it keeps building up, ends up in the breast milk. Babies are ingesting this. And again, Homo salicate disrupts estrogen, messes up estrogen, androgens, testosterone, progesterone levels, totally messes with your system. And the breakdown products are toxic. Octanoxane, again, another thing that ends up absorbing through the skin, ends up in mother's milk. Is it bad? Yes, it acts as a weak estrogen. It works as an anti-androgen, which basically works against your testosterone level. Therefore, sperm counts are lower in men. It has a different type of hormone-like activities and affects the thyroid, and even showing behavioral alterations in animal states. So animals start acting differently if they've been exposed to this chemical. And this can affect us as well. Coral is damaged as well. Environmental damage to our reefs, again, banned in Hawaii in 2018, went into effect of January 2021, but this is still available in the continental US on what we call the mainland. So we can still get it here in the United States, and it's in those sunscreens, and we need to be careful about it. And finally, Helioplex. Helioplex is just a registered trademark brand name with Johnson & Johnson, Neutrogena. You'll see Helioplex as an ingredient, but it's actually a combination of avobenzone, oxybenzone, octocrylene, Homo salicate, and octisolate. What's a person to do here? Oh my goodness. All of these things we should not be using, but they're still selling it on the shelves. The FDA was supposed to come down upon the manufacturers, and all they did was have them change some labeling that has nothing to do with these toxicities that we talked about. Well, the answer is mineral sunscreens, zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. So minerals, these things are just naturally occurring in the environment, zinc and titanium. The minerals, they don't penetrate through the skin into your living tissues. They have much better UVA protection than chemical sunscreens. It says UVA and B. It's a physical block that reduces the amount of UV rays coming in. And so these things are safe. It doesn't absorb and affect your hormones. It's safe for the environment, no damage to the reefs. This is what we need to be using on our skin. This is what we need to do to protect our skin, as well as not cause damage by using chemicals. And can we find it out there? Yes. Here's an example. Titanium dioxide, 7.75%, zinc oxide, 10%. If it's just those two as your active ingredients, great, get that. Use that type of sunscreen. But if you start seeing those other chemicals in there that you can't pronounce, that don't sound familiar, zinc and titanium, those are just natural minerals. If you read any other chemicals on there, don't buy it. You don't need to do that. There are sunscreens that have great protection that have just titanium and zinc. So to close, a few other things that you can help yourself with, since we're talking about the skin and the health of it, the use of L-ascorbic acid vitamin C serum that you apply on the skin can actually decrease the damage that UVA and B rays cause on your skin. So it actually reduces the damage caused by ultraviolet rays, and it actually helps build collagen. Just using it, you find new collagen being formed. The other thing is pycnogenol. It is a kind of a herbal type thing. It's also called pine bark. It does a lot with phase 2 detoxification in the body and the liver. So these chemicals and stuff that are in their environment that are damaging to us, pycnogenol actually helps to detoxify the body. The other thing, though, it actually helps skin cells from damage and aging from UV rays. So just taking pycnogenol as a supplement can help protect you from what the UV rays are going to do to you. Of course, wear broad-rimmed hats. Don't just wear a little baseball cap that gives you a little shade on your eyes and you end up burning your cheeks and problems with your neck. Wear a broad-rimmed hat that protects you all the way around. If you can, get a window film for your car or window tint that has 100% UV block rating. So the front already has UV protection, but the side windows don't. So getting that tinted or 100% UV blocked film will benefit you a lot. Also, if you find yourself stuck outside talking to somebody or doing things and you're in the sun, see if you can turn your back to the sun. Even if it's for a few minutes, just reducing the amount of direct sunlight on your skin can make a big difference. So hope those are things that are useful for you, and look forward to seeing you guys and talking to you again soon. So meanwhile, take care and God bless, and we'll see you again soon.